Welcome to the Brandon and Carlos Show. I am Brandon and this is my co-host Carlos.
What's up, everybody?
Today we will be talking about the coronavirus and the 4 lawmakers who voted against making lynching a federal hate crime. But before we get into that, Carlos, you remember I was telling you how my wife and I are trying to do this all-natural type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well,
we got any better results?
Well, we... As it relates to the deodorant, no. To our listening audience, I had decided that I'm going to do this all natural thing, even when it relates to our personal hygiene. So, that means using plant-based deodorant and plant-based soap and things of that nature. All of this stuff we tried, and my wife and I and my family. But the deodorant just wasn't hitting right, and I talked about it in one of our shows about how, when you put it on, it smells so good, but after some time, it just it wears off very quickly. So, but the whole nature thing is going well.
That's what's up.
We planted a garden, tilled it, and planted some seeds this week.
What all you got in the garden?
I planted some spinach, some kale. What else did I plant?
You said lavender, right?
Yeah, lavender. I planted that on the inside though. Lavender and sunflower seeds.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, those and I planted them in the house and they're growing up real nice and long and pretty.
That's what's up.
But no, that's going good. What we're trying to do is eat healthy. Eat organically is what I'm really trying to say. Where we don't have all of this chemicals and stuff. You know how it is.
Right.
They put all this pesticides and stuff in the store. We're trying to get away from all that.
Yeah. I got you.
Hopefully live longer. You know what I mean? But what's been going on with you?
Well, as I told you a couple episodes ago that, I started at AmeriGas Propane and I got training this coming up week where I'll be down in the suburb of Atlanta for 3 days training on propane safety and the different things that I need to know in order to deliver propane to residents and different businesses. So I did not know that it was this extensive dealing with propane, but it would make sense considering that propane is pretty flammable,
right? And
pretty explosive. So
yes.
I have been at it now for a couple weeks. I like the job. It's not unlike LTL or semi truck driving where you're making deliveries all day. You're constantly in and out of the truck. But it's just other things that you got to be aware of. There's different rules and regulations, each tank and how to look at the tanks to make sure they're up to code and whatnot to keep everybody safe. So that's what's been going on with me.
Cool. All right. Well, now it's time for our musical moments with Los.
Yeah. Musical moments with Los. Well, listen, we have a young and upcoming R&B singer by the name of E. Vincent. He was one of my students back at Pike High School back in Indianapolis. And I'm really excited for where he's going. He got a lot of things going on, and big up to them Red Devils. So this is his single, Fade Away. You'll be able to find it on our Facebook page if you want to be able to go ahead and purchase it. So without further ado, this is the single Fade Away by E. Vincent.
There's a woman I know, she's sweet from the go. Whenever we get alone, we're quick to get in the zone. Gets me up when I'm low, no amateur, she's a pro. Not forget she's so grown, makes me put down my phone. At first I try to resist, that's when she gave me a kiss. She likes it like this, pro-black, she raises her fist. But the feeling's so real, I like how she feels. No need for Henny or pills, she just wants me to heal. She can tell me how, she can tell me when, she can tell me now. We can begin, together we can fly, and I know she feels the same. We can make it real, all we need is a flame. That's when I heard her to stay. Wait for me. You and I can fade away. Don't run away. You can stay with me. You and I can fade away. I'm on the way. Can you wait for me? You and I can fade away. Don't run away. You can stay with me. Stay with me. You and I can fade away. We playing chess, I'm no pawn. She call me king like LeBron. Climbing heights like I'm Kong. Up in the clouds we belong. Sometimes she slap like a gong. It's always right, never wrong. One time a friend came along. They both were singing this song. She is the best when she is all on my flesh. I put her loving on top so she can press on my chest. Never killing her soul, never killing the flow. Never telling her no, cause we both know how this go. Listen, I can tell her how, I can tell her when, I can tell her now. We can begin, together we can fly. And I know she feels the same. We can make it real, all we need is a flame. That's when I heard her say, wait for me. You and I can fade away. Don't run away. You can stay with me. You and I can fade away. I'm on the way. Can you wait for me? You and I can fade away. Don't run away. You can stay with me. Stay with me. You and I can fade away.
All right, and that was E. Vincent from Indianapolis, Indiana, song entitled Fade Away.
Now to the topic of today's show, the coronavirus. According to www.cdc.gov, CDC is responding to an outbreak of respiratory disease caused by a novel new coronavirus that was first detected in Wuhan City, Hebei Province, China, and which has now been detected in 57 locations internationally.
Wow.
Including cases in the United States. The virus has been named SARS-CoV-2, and the disease it causes has been named coronavirus disease 2019, abbreviated COVID-19.
So a SARS again?
On January 30th, 2020, the International Health Regulations Emergency Committee of the World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. On January 31st, 2020, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex M. Azar II declared a public health emergency for the United States to aid the nation's healthcare community in responding to COVID-19. The coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that are common in many different species of animals, including camels, cattle, cats, and bats. Rarely, animal coronaviruses can infect people and then spread between people, such as with MERS-CoV, SARS-CoV, and now with this new virus named SARS-CoV-2. Carlos, this is a really scary situation. It's like something out of a movie. I see on Facebook, Facebook has no chill.
Nah,
and
not at all.
They tend to come out with these memes, and sometimes they are funny, and they're funny about inappropriate things.
Yeah.
But I saw some memes about the coronavirus that were, I think, just insensitive. And it reminded me that this is a very serious thing. And it's really not a laughing matter. I even posted a meme. I don't think mine was as morbid as some of the other people's, or even racist.
It's definitely not a laughing matter. What I'm realizing is they said that it's only a matter of time, not if, but when it actually breaks out in the United States. And I haven't, up until this point, we've survived a lot of other outbreaks, SARS the first time around and some other ones that I can't remember off the top of the dome right now. But this one is like they know it's coming, and it's like they feel like there's not anything they could really do about it as far as it's spreading. But they did give us, the basic guidelines of any disease to stop it from spreading. And one of the main things that they've been saying since the beginning of time is wash your hands.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've been out and gone to the bathroom only to watch people bypass the sinks. And I'm like, how nasty are you? First and foremost, that's just trifling. But we're dealing with diseases that could easily spread, and you refuse to do the most simplest task, the first line of defense, wash your nasty hands. That's
right.
Crazy to me.
Right. You said when it gets to the U.S., it's already here.
No, but I'm talking about actually starting to spread like it has in China.
Got you. According to NBCnews.com, a number of coronavirus cases from unknown sources growing in U.S. 3 new presumptive cases were reported Friday on the West Coast, with patients in Oregon, Washington, and California, but it's not clear how they were infected. While that's important, you can understand if someone got the coronavirus and they went to, and they went to China.
Right.
Because that's where it started. But these cases that this article was talking about, they had no link to China. So, like, to me, why that's scary is, okay, if they didn't go to China where the virus was, then that means the virus was here. Or it's obviously airborne.
Right, because you got to remember, one, China is a huge continent with, millions of people, and we get a lot of our clothing and different items are made over in China. Plus, it's a international hub of people leaving in and out of there. Like, there's a lot of businesses that, the U.S. does business and other countries do business with them. So there's literally millions of people coming in and out of China all the time. And so even if you don't have a direct connection, 9 times out of 10, there's some form of fashion of connection, whether it's your clothes, food, things of that nature. We get a lot of things from China.
Right. I don't necessarily know, 'cause I'm not a scientist or a healthcare professional.
Right.
But I don't think that, if something was made in China and then the virus got on it, that it could last, necessarily that long trip over here without dying. However, I did see where in China they are spraying their packages and stuff like that as they go out and come in.
Yeah.
To keep stuff from, who knows.
I don't think it could happen either, but stuff mutates. And I don't think it's gotten to that level yet. I don't think it's gotten that advanced. But I'm just thinking about what all the things that we have. And like I said, people, it's the United States and China, 2 of the most busiest hubs of international travel in the world. So it wouldn't be hard.
Well, it's scary. I know that I've been telling my family, wash your hands. Not just wash your hands, but wash your hands for at least 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I was taught how to do that, just sing happy birthday 2 times, while you do that. but you know, it's a very scary thing. It seems like it's something out of a freaking
And you know,
horror film. You know, I mean, and that's what's weird. There was a movie
called Outbreak. Remember that?
yeah, and then there was another movie. What is Outbreak on Netflix?
I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore.
There's something on. Look it up real quick. There's something on Netflix right now that has to do with some sort of pandemic. It's so crazy how Hollywood can predict, you know, something that
predictive programming. I think that's a real thing.
we have to really investigate that. There might be some truth to that because the Simpsons, for example, remember they predicted that Donald Trump would be the president,
Oh, yeah.
and he what?
The
Or he
Simpsons have
is.
predicted a lot of things, man. It's kind of scary.
And I saw something where it said that they even predicted this sort of coronavirus outbreak. It's man,
I can't find it.
well, we can agree that there have been Hollywood depictions of something like this happening.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
If you're out there listening, man, please wash your hands. Wash your hands. Also, if your kids are sick, keep them home
Or if you
from
sick,
school. Or if
you
you're
got sick
sick,
days,
don't go. Right.
Yeah, you got
use
sick
them.
days. Use them sick days and get better.
Right.
Because you know it's crazy out here. And then on top of that, going back to the meme situation, this is actually facts. Corona beer sales have gone down because of the name, because people are linking the beer to the virus.
Right. I remember you sent me that stuff. And I'm
That's
like,
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is very
Like
crazy.
people are very, very, very scared of this situation.
Right. And we got to be careful too, not to be, you know, racist or insensitive to people, you know, from China.
I don't know.
You know,
Most definitely.
because man, it's crazy. We could talk a lot about this. Well, we'll revisit it in a week from now to see how far it's advancing. They did say that the virus will die when it gets wet and hot. You know,
okay.
but they're afraid that it'll come back. The virus survives, or it does best in dry and cold situations, and I think, you know, that's the winter time. We also want to talk today about these 4 lawmakers who voted against a House bill to make lynching a federal hate crime.
Yeah. So I was doing my daily scroll on Facebook and came across it. Like, I heard that it was supposed to go before, Congress and the whole 9 yards to get that done. And it's funny to me that something that's common sense, such as lynching and hanging people from trees and other objects, is just now becoming a law to where you can't do that. Now, it's funny to me, but at the same time, it's very interesting because if you go back in history, slavery was actually not against the law. It was a law. It was commonplace that you could own slaves. And if you just look throughout history, a lot of the things that have been done against different people and different races, there were actually laws allowing it. You can even go back to the Holocaust. So it's crazy that that now in 2020 that they finally take a vote for the House, and 4 lawmakers who, according to Newsweek.com, 3 Republicans voted against the measure. GOP members Ted Yoho of Florida, where we reside, Louis Gohmert of Texas, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, and the chamber's lone independent, Justin Amash of Michigan, who famously switched from Republican to independent over his support for impeaching President Donald Trump, also voted no. Then you had 16 members who did not vote. However, the proposal, received broad bipartisan support and passed 410 to 4. 410 to 4. Republicans accused the legislation of being an overreach by federal government and encroaching on states' rights. The legislation, if enacted, would add lynching to the list of current criminal civil rights violations. Again, I think it's hilarious that was their reasoning for not voting unanimously on something that has been or is egregious and has been ridiculous against not just, one set of people. However, in this country has been one set of people who have been getting lynched. But how could you not vote? And that's your reasoning for saying that it infringes upon the states. Well, obviously the states didn't have it and the states weren't trying to have it. And so it needed to be passed by the House, the federal government, and that's your reasoning. What you think, Brandon?
Well, lynching, is wrong. When I say wrong, it's against the law. What they were doing was putting it on the books as making it a federal hate crime. Mm-hmm. So, if someone hung somebody, I guess of color or a minority, that they would amp up the charges as, not just a murder, but a murder by the means of, federal hate crime.
Right.
Which is, I tend to agree with you. Like these four, like why would they? Because that was my thing when I saw them. Like, okay, who are the four, and what was their reasoning for not voting, to make it a federal hate crime? Surely, even though I do realize there are racist people and in politics,
right?
Surely they're not that bold to let themselves be perceived as racist because of the way that they voted. So there has to be a very good reason. They think that there was a very good reasoning behind it, because I think what you were saying was that they wanted to leave it up to the states to make that determination,
right?
Because a lot of stuff, and that happens all the time. A lot of laws they leave up to the states to handle. But if I was white and I was voting for something like that, I think I would have voted for it, So, but that's just my personal opinion. It passed. Ultimately, it did. But
yeah,
it kind of pinpoints those four as some racist sacks of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they may not be, but
right. But again, that's your reasoning, that you wanted to allow the states to have more legislation on it. But it passed 4-10 to 4, and then you had the 16 who just didn't bother to vote.
Right.
And to me,
they scare me the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know their,
exactly. You don't know where they stand.
Yeah.
And again, why would you not vote? And it kind of tells me where they already were, because if you didn't agree with it, then you would have voted that you agree with it. It'd have been,
right.
426. But you obviously didn't agree with it, but you didn't want to look bad. And
right.
you knew that your name wasn't going to be linked to it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure I can pretty much look up their names if I chose to. But
yeah, you can. It's public record.
Yeah. But we're not going to give them that highlight. We're going to give the four who will just really ridiculous.
Yeah,
that highlight.
Yeah.
We're going to call them the donkeys of the day. We're going to steal that from the Breakfast Club.
We need to come up with our own version of that.
We do.
Yeah.
We definitely do.
That's a good idea.
We definitely do. But so yeah, I just thought that was really, 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 really ridiculous. And there's really nothing much more to say about that. I do want to bring up something right quick. It's not national news. It's more back toward my hometown. I was reading something on Facebook yesterday, and then it hit that the bus drivers called in sick. All of a sudden, they just got sick. And I think it was like 300 bus drivers called in from IPS district. And basically what they did is they went on strike, because at the end of their current contract, at the end of the school year, most of them will not be retaining their jobs because IPS is going into a private bus organization. And so they called in and sick yesterday, and it basically crippled IPS because IPS is 22,000 students, and I believe less than 50% were able to make it to school yesterday. Excuse me. And I felt like it was pretty interesting, and I thought it was very interesting. I sent it to you, Brandon. Did you get a chance to look into it?
I didn't. Let's be honest with you.
Okay.
You sent me.
Excuse
You
me.
sent me so much stuff. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but no, I saw it, but I didn't really read
Okay.
about it. But
My the reason why it hit home for me, I'm from Indianapolis, but I was also in education for 16 years. And if anybody knows anything about education in school districts, the bus drivers are the front line. You can't teach a kid without the kid getting there. And IPS is the biggest school district in Indianapolis. It's also the poorest. So many of the parents don't have vehicles to get their kids back and forth. See, I could have used that tea, Brandon. Thanks a lot for not bringing me none.
I have you some next week.
Appreciate it. And I think it's just really wrong just how they treat bus drivers in general in different areas, even here in Pensacola. When I got here from Indianapolis, I was just researching, the different things that I was capable of doing. I have my CDLA, and I asked about driving a bus, and they only pay bus drivers here $10 to $12 an hour. And I'm like, how are you supposed to function off of $10 to $12 an hour? So going back to the Indianapolis situation, the superintendent of schools called their act reprehensible because what it did was it crippled the district, and they had testing. You got sophomores taking the QQE, which is the state testing in which you have to graduate, basically the I-STEP test. I don't know what they call it here in Florida, but it's the test that you have to pass to graduate in the state of Indiana. And there was a lot of sophomores due to take that. They had, other athletic programs and art programs and special needs kids who needed to take the bus. But because these bus drivers didn't come to work, I applaud them because now they've got your attention. But it was funny that she called it reprehensible and that said that they would be dealt with accordingly. It was hilarious to me because I'm like, what are you going to do? They're already set to lose their jobs. I think what they did had the desired effect. They realized you can't do anything without us. So what are you going to do? How are you going to fire us if we're already losing our job? And on top of that, I believe some of them are due to lose their pension because their jobs are being phased out. So I'm like, why should they care? Not that they don't care about the kids, but we got a lot of bus drivers who have made this a career.
Right.
And again, I understand that, it did mess up a lot of things, but they're talking about their livelihoods and their careers and their ability to put food on the table and take care of their families.
Right. And that's sad.
And like I said, I applaud them. Shout out to them for that.
Yeah.
And IPS, you got some work to do. And Pensacola, you have work to do too because they have a bus shortage here. I believe at the beginning of the school year, it was like 24 open positions. And so they were struggling pretty bad. And one of the reasons why they're struggling, I don't understand this, but if you have a CDLA, they make you go take the test for a lesser CDL just to get your passenger endorsement. Something has to be done.
Gotcha.
That's crazy. So I just wanted to bring highlight that situation that was going on in my hometown. Brandon, what do you have?
Well, we're out of time.
Oh, okay.
That's it for the Brandon and Carlos show. There's a lot of scare going around the country with this coronavirus. I just want to leave you with this. Robin Sharma said this: obstacles are the cost of greatness.